This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everybody. Today is 100 years since Meher Baba came on this earth to Mehrabad, and it's a beautiful day to celebrate him in whichever way possible. Everybody's celebrating in Mehrabad. You can see the live recording on YouTube, and we are starting today by connecting with Baba and sending him all our love and all who join in our love. Um, we're going to start from page 1631, and we have Marilyn who's going to read now. Thank you.
Okay. Film projects and work in India. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. When the terrific thunderstorm broke out, the men built a shelter to protect themselves, but nevertheless, they got completely drenched by the heavy rain. When the rain stopped, they lit a fire to dry themselves and also for Baba when he would return. Maya's usual opposition, Baba was to remark later. Earlier than expected, at 4:30 p.m., Baba rose from his bedding, put on his coat and pants, and walked back to the men. To their amazement, he was completely dry. When asked about it, Baba simply smiled a significant smile, which the men intuitively understood. Baba was radiant, beaming. He later commented, I am very happy. I am satisfied with the work done here. It was better than at Assisi. When I work like this, a meeting of large numbers of my agents is held, but you cannot see them with your gross eyes. Sometimes, though, you can hear a rumble like boot steps. At 5:15 p.m., Baba distributed fruit to break their fast. Then they walked through the forest and fields to the road junction, arriving in 45 minutes. 5 minutes later, Hetty showed up in the car. She had felt an inner urge to arrive an hour earlier than ordered. They loaded the luggage, and at Baba's request, they began their return home by a different route. At the top of Ibergareg Pass, they stopped to have coffee in the local restaurant. Inside, a happy atmosphere prevailed, with local Swiss farmers laughing and singing in loud, merry voices. Some danced, and Baba particularly enjoyed their yodeling. It was quite a contrast to the hours of seclusion he had spent on Fallenfleur, an enjoyable respite from his strenuous work. They started back to they started back to Zurich at 7:15 p.m. and reached the Mertens residence 2 hours later. Anita remarked that Baba looked glorious. Baba, what authority you have, she said. Baba responded, yes, but real authority means having great responsibilities. Baba was in a good mood and called his lovers to his room. He told them his work had been accomplished well and explained about his meeting with the advanced souls of the hierarchy, the future war, and his protection of Switzerland. He spelled out on his board, I have drawn a circle around the country so that it will not be involved in the coming war. He went on to describe the details of his seclusion on the mountain top.
And we have a footnote. Baba revealed that one of the spirits whom he contacted during the seclusion at Fallenfleur was extremely tall and bony. Some of the Swiss group were convinced Baba was referring to Nicholas von Flue, 1417 to 1487, the Swiss spiritual figure known popularly as Bruder, brother Klaus. End of footnote.
Shall I continue? The next day, 13 July 1934, was filled with private interviews from 9 in the morning until 6 that evening. Baba met with more than 50 Swiss and Europeans. Narina and Walter interpreted for those who did not speak English. Excerpts from a few of those meetings are given below. At 9 a.m., Mr. Kleiner, a workman who had become paralyzed, came. Baba said, "It is not the paralysis of the body that matters, but of the mind that retards the soul. I will help you spiritually, for I appreciate the spirit in which you bear all your suffering." Narina introduced Mrs. Henry James Foreman, who had met Baba previously, saying, "She is complaining that she has not developed in her spiritual progress as quickly as she would have liked. She feels confused about things." Baba replied, "All are confused except me, but it will soon be all right." It looks, oh, that's not a footnote. She accuses herself of not being good enough, not as selfless as she wants to be. She longs to be better. That is very noble. It will happen. Let that desire remain and she will progress. This contact will help her. Miss Gersberger, the daughter of a clergyman, wanted to know why Westerners thought Eastern religions were so confusing. Baba replied, "Easterners say the same thing about Western religions. Everyone thinks his own religion is the best. This is ignorance. Jesus never meant that. What does religion mean? To find God within. What did Jesus teach? To find him within and not to wage wars in his name, as his followers have been doing." How can we realize that? I lost my, through love and helping others selflessly. It is very easy if you think less of yourself and more of others. It is so easy. No matter if you doubt me or do not even believe me, I will help you. I will help you even if you don't want it. When the sun is high up in the sky and you feel hot, you cannot avoid it. It shines on you even if you don't want it to. To another, Baba said, "Spirituality is so easy, but people make it so complicated that it seems a gigantic task. Think more of others and less of yourself. Try little by little." To Mrs. Heiner, a woman working in Walter's office, was asked if she wanted to ask anything. She shook her head, no. Baba commented, "I understand, because what can explanations mean when internal help is at hand? Real help is spiritual help, not by words and explanations." A few tears fell from the woman's eyes, and she put her hand in Baba's and sat with him for a few moments. Another person, who also had no questions, said he only wanted the master's contact. To which Baba commented, "If it is true that I know everything, then there is no need to ask me questions. And if you feel I do not know, what is the use of asking me as I would not then be able to help you. At 10 a.m., a nurse named Mrs. Schreiber disclosed certain fears to Baba, saying, I am so tired of life and very unhappy. I don't see how I can improve. Baba reassured her, everyone is unconsciously tired of this life because everyone seeks happiness, but knows not how to get it. But life is so beautiful. It is meant to be happy. I will help you. Then things will appear changed. You will see it. It is always the outlook that counts, not the object. Today, you feel tired, upset, seeing nothing beautiful in things around you in life. If tomorrow you do not feel bored but cheerful in the same things that appeared so black to you yesterday, it is all due to the changed mentality and outlook. The easy way is not to make so much of things. Take them lightly. Say to yourself, I am meant to be happy, to make others happy, and gradually you do become happy yourself and make others happy too. Don't suggest to your mind, I am tired, haggard, depressed, etc. That will make it worse. Always say, all is well and beautiful. I will be happy. Baba added, I will help you spiritually. I can and I will. You will feel it. Baba gave a similar reply to a morphine addict who approached him. Baba asked, are you happy? The man said, no, very, very miserable. Try to be always happy. Never think that life is dreadful. I am tired of life, etc. Such thoughts really make life miserable. Life is worth living. If you think like that, all difficulties will appear insignificant. I will help you try to develop love. Never think, I am alone, I have so much to do, I am poor, and so on. All are poor. The whole world is poor. Even millionaires are poor because they have greed and want more. Love someone and I will help you. A man came with a written list of his transgressions, which made him feel that he was unredeemable. He was about to read it out, but Baba said, there's no need to tell me anything. Don't worry. When one is meant for spiritual advancement, one has either one has either love or lust in him to the extreme. This lust must be converted into love. What is lust but a craving to satisfy physical senses? And to love is the craving of the soul. Never think that you have fallen so far as not to be able to rise again. A nervous woman came, and Narina explained that she was in love with a church pianist. She wanted to know if she should continue the friendship platonically, as Catholic law prevents marriage with a man who is divorced. Excuse me, Baba. I'm sorry. Do they love each other? Baba asked. The girl said yes, and Baba continued. Then love is all that matters. If there is no lust, there is no harm in it. Let that love grow so it makes two souls like one. I will help her spiritually to make this love grow purer. Narina reintroduced the painter Helen Dam, who had met Baba 2 years before. Baba remarked to her, I am also a painter. I paint the hearts of people with the colors of spirituality. To another artist, Baba said, I am an artist who has the whole world as my canvas. I paint souls. One can express all of one's spiritual qualities through art, but one must put all one's heart into it. Art is one of the sources through which the soul expresses itself and inspires others. But to express art thoroughly, one must have his inner emotions thoroughly opened. I love artists, for through art, one can express oneself beautifully. Art, when inspired with love, leads to higher realms. When you paint, you forget everything except your object. When you are so engrossed in it, you are lost in it. And when you are lost in it, your ego diminishes. When that happens, love infinite appears. And when love is created, God is attained. So you see how art can lead one to find infinite God. The Mertenses' home was an old estate surrounded by extensive nurseries and orchids. Gesturing to the beautiful gardens, Baba quipped, all this is my painting. A young woman wanted to develop the divine within, but she felt she could not achieve it herself without help. Baba responded, you will achieve it by my help. Never be disheartened. It is all within, and I will help you to open it.
Thank you. How can spirituality be attained? She inquired. It can be attained not by intellect, but by heart and feeling and inner experience. I could explain for hours, but that would be nothing compared to 1 second of my internal health. Do one thing. Every night, just before retiring, think for 1 minute. The infinite God is within me, and I am a part of the infinite. I would like everybody to just repeat this one more time in your head mentally, if you can, or out loud. The infinite God is within me, and I am a part of the infinite. So beautiful. This will put you more and more in contact with me internally. Norina introduced a woman saying she is a law student. Law is good, Baba remarked. The whole universe is based on the divine law of love, which covers all existence. The woman asked, how can I strive both to achieve things in life materially and also to that which is permanently lasting? Baba explained, it can be done. What does perfection mean if it does not include the material life? It is easy and practical. Lead a worldly life, attend to all your worldly duties, but for some moments in the day, long for knowing something that is beyond life. And this longing will increase gradually and will make you free and detached from material results. One person told Baba, I have seen you face to face, but I don't remember where. I've known you for a very, very long time, Baba said. I have the feeling I know you also. Is a link already established? Baba told him that it was, and the man very cordially shook Baba's hand and then kissed lovingly. Another asked, will the world conditions take a better turn? Yes, it has to. Will there be an understanding between East and West? Yes, it is to be. It is inevitable. Soon it will be such a spiritual worldwide revolution that all will have to unite. Do you know about the Oxford movement? Footnote, please. The Oxford Group was a Christian organization founded by an American missionary that gained wide popularity in the 1930s. The group stressed living Christianity as an alternative to the traditional institutionalized Christianity. Thank you. Yes, it is one of the channels that leads to me. Will yours be a new religion or union of all religions into one? All religions will be one. It'll be a movement of eternal love, and so it'll be a religion of love. The same as Christ. Yes, the change will happen soon in this generation and will last a very long time. The spiritual revolution will take place very soon. Can you just point me where I read from because I can't spot it?
Right there on the top, will it express itself through war?
Okay, yeah, I can't see it because it's okay.
Is this
Yeah,
better?
yeah, this is better. Thank you. Will it express itself through war? It might or might not, but it will express itself just after an economic war all over the world. I'm trying to avert a violent, bloodshed filled war. Oh my God, can we not relate to that? How can we help to avoid the war? How can we be useful? By thinking that there won't be a war, millions of my agents are working towards that. Your love messages can reach anyone, anywhere, because it is in all these is the one infinite God. Why not bring salvation now? The world needs it very badly, but still there is a need for some of its greater evils to be eradicated, and then it will be very soon. I know it because I have worked it out. Will salvation be felt by anybody and everybody? Mostly by all in degrees, to some more, to others less, but it'll be a universal spiritual path. Why doesn't everybody find or feel God within? It is nobody's fault. Every soul sooner or later has to realize God within. Why do a few realize it and many do not? It is because these many have yet to pass through the experience of duality, because to reach unity, one has to pass through duality. At 3 p.m., Otto below met Baba, Norina's Swiss uncle, Heinrich Woflin, a prominent professor and art historian, was another visitor. When the professor met Baba, he asked, when is salvation coming for the world? When will all this nonsense end? Soon, Baba assured him. Oh, please let it be soon, the professor said with a smile. I'm already 70 and I want to see it. You will, Baba promised him. Just wait a little while longer. The professor's housekeeper adored Baba. She came more than once and simply wanted to sit by Baba and hold his arm for a few minutes. At one point, she asked innocently, why am I naughty? Why think like that? Baba chided her. And why worry about it? It is good to think of how to improve our defects, but don't always be worried about them. At 4 p.m., two clergymen, Mr. Meister and Mr. Wegman, came. One of them said, from the Christian standpoint, Christ is the only one and unique of the prophets. Do you believe that? Baba commented. Unique indeed, from the standpoint of the state and consciousness. The Mohammedans claim Muhammad is the only prophet. The Buddhists claim the same for Buddha. The Parsis for Zoroaster, and the Christians for Christ. Each says that his project that his perfect ideal or the prophet unique. But why bother about that? Why do names matter? What is prominent is the life that Jesus lived. To understand Christ, to know him, one has to live his life. Mere ceremonies and talks, discussions, and criticisms don't help one towards knowing Christ. Christ taught one simple thing: love, but so few of his followers have that love developed. Is this standpoint of love consistent with Christian dogma? Love has it in love has in its selfless service and renunciation of lower desires. Pure love indicates everything. If one loves, all other love qualities automatically dissolve themselves. And by love, I mean pure love, not the sexual love as it is meant today in the world of matter. Marvin, could you read from here? Someone else asked.
Yes, and I'm going to read that last sentence because one word was misread.
Sure. Thank you
And
so much.
by love, I mean pure love, not the sexual love as it is meant today in the world of matter. Someone else asked, is there any great difference between Christ and organized religion? A world of difference. Christ is to be lived and not ceremonied, found in ceremonies. Dr. Kohlberg asked how she could be a better physician. Baba answered, it is very simple, through love. Anything that is done with love has perfect results. To be a good doctor, always have in mind that to you, all patients, good or bad, big or small, are equal. Treat a beggar with as much care and interest as you would a millionaire. Only if a doctor can realize that one infinite God is in all can she work like a saint. It is simple, yet very difficult to practice. So many things interfere: reputation, name, money, society, circumstances, and so on. Baba concluded, I am a doctor of souls. I help each according to his need. Another day, Baba showed the chart of evolution to a small private group. One person in attendance opined that the missing link, as he understood it, was erroneous. Baba agreed. Yes, it is a great mistake. In fact, there is nothing like a missing link in evolution. How is selfishness caused and why? Baba explained. At the root of all is selfishness, self-interest, want, and desire. If two dogs see a bone, they fight because they both want it. Both have a desire to possess it. Even if they do not see it and do not fight, all the same, the desire is latent there. Why do people fear? Because they are afraid of losing the thing they want to possess. What are the means to become fearless? The only possible means is a spiritual change of heart. Only that will make people satisfied. They want to be satisfied. They themselves do not know what they want. For all material satisfaction created through desire and want, spiritual upliftment is needed. Baba said, it will be done by universal love. Love has such powers as to unite all hearts. So the first spiritual I lost my place here. So the first spiritual universal push will be through love. Word misspelled. A few more interviews were granted the next day, 14 July 1934, to Moore Mazazani, a well-known dancer. Baba directed this remark. Dancing is a very good art if expressed rightly. It has divine qualities, and if expressed properly, it will have a wonderful effect. If expressed wrongly, it has the opposite effect. On one occasion, Baba mentioned the making of the film and commented to his close ones, when the film is produced in America, I will take you all there with me. Delia's name, however, was somehow omitted from subsequent discussions. Delia's mind began being troubled by this because she felt excluded. After some time, she could not hide her pain and wept. Then a horsefly stung her on the eye, causing even more swelling. Narina tried to comfort her, but to no avail. Baba finally asked her what was wrong. After the usual evasive, "Nothing, Baba," he tapped his pocket and declared, "Even if I have to keep you in my pocket, I will take you with me to America." This made Delia laugh, and all her anxieties vanished. After further discussions with Gabriel Pascal, a contract about the film work was drawn up, typed, and signed by him on the 14th. Baba went to see a movie that afternoon at 5 p.m., but just before he left, he became annoyed with Adi Jr. Harsh words were exchanged, creating a gloomy atmosphere. According to Chanji, Baba created the storm on purpose to allow the Mertens and others to experience the other side of the master's mood and sometimes warm-hearted atmosphere of his Sahavas. After 10 days in Zurich, on Monday, 16 July 1934, Baba departed from Marseille by train. Accompanying him were the three Mandali, Narina, Elizabeth, Rano, Nani, Ruano, Delia, and Quentin. Baba dressed in European clothing, but during this trip, he always wore his sadra underneath. He turned to Rano during the train ride to ask, "I feel very uncomfortable in this outfit. Would it be all right if I took off my coat and pants?" Looking around the compartment at the stern faces of the Swiss, Rano replied that it did not matter to her, but it might be embarrassing in the presence of other passengers. Baba smiled, gestured a bit sadly, "Yes, I guess I had better not," and stayed dressed in his suit. Even the avatars to put up with convention, age observed. They reached Marseille the same day and checked into Hotel Terminus. On their way there in the taxi, Baba looked at Nani, smiled, and spelled on his alphabet board, "Angel." The 4-day stay in Marseille proved to be hectic. Baba rushed about all day, going for walks in the zoo and parks, out for drives. He took the group to the movies twice in the same day. Whenever Baba went to a movie, it was his usual habit, no matter how good the film, to watch part of it, then stand up and walk out. But this was not the case in Marseille. The film they went to in the evening turned out to be hopelessly boring. All wanted to leave, but Baba insisted on sitting through it until the very end. The film was in French, and Baba kept nudging Rano to translate and explain what was being said. This embarrassed her as the content was a bit risque for the time. At one point, Delia naively asked, "Baba, darling, is your spiritual work not over yet?" The film was so poorly done that some fell asleep. While out in the city one day, they passed the bird market. Baba indicated his wish to have some birds. A pair of brightly colored parakeets was purchased and taken back to the hotel. Baba then said that he wanted 4 more, one each from Delia, Quentin, Nani, and Rano. These were brought, but the next morning Baba said that he needed 3 more, one each from Narina, Elizabeth, and Ruano. Baba went with them to the shop and selected for himself, for a total of 13 birds. Nani purchased a beautiful pagoda-shaped cage in which to keep them. But at the hotel, the birds began fighting amongst themselves, and Baba wished them separated into different cages. Quentin had kept pet birds in London, so Baba sent for him to transfer one pair into a different cage. Quentin was preparing tea in the next room. He was an absolute stickler for an afternoon cup of tea, and he called out to wait a minute. He was making tea. After a couple of minutes, Baba again sent for him, and Quentin gave the same reply. Baba was annoyed by this and directed Adi Jr. to move the birds. Baba spelled out, referring to Quentin, "He thinks more of his tea than of obeying my orders." When Adi Jr. put his hand inside the bird's cage, one of them pecked him sharply. He immediately drew back his hand, and as he did so, one bird flew out of the cage door and away through an open window in the room. Quentin appeared on the scene to find Baba very displeased, his eyes glowering intensely. Pointing to those present, Baba asked, "Is this obedience? Is this the way the West obeys me? I will send you all back and never see your faces again. My work is handicapped by the escape of that bird. So I repeat, remember at all times to carry out immediately what I say." Baba then calmed down, embracing one and all. Rana was amazed by Baba's sudden change in mood, since an ordinary human being could never revert so quickly to contentment after displaying such an explosion of wrath. To celebrate, Baba gave each a little wine and said, "It is of great spiritual significance to take birds from the west to the east. Each one represents a person. The bird that flew away is symbolic of one of my close disciples who will realize me, but die before I break my silence. It was my will that the bird flew away. It will die in a matter of days. My circle has 12 members, so the 13th bird had to go. The same thing happened at the time of the Buddha, who was given 32 birds by his disciples." Baba directed Delia and Quentin to take one of the birds back to the shop and exchange it for as many smaller birds as they could. They brought back 5 for a total of 16. Kaka was put in charge of these birds, and they were taken back to India with Baba. In Marseille, Rana was given the opportunity to comb Baba's hair. She was smoking 15 cigarettes per day then, but through Baba's influence, she gradually tapered down to just 2 a day. By giving her and Nani chances to serve him in small ways, Baba made them feel like they belonged with him, and thus they grew closer to him. Margaret once related about Baba's visits. "It used to be that when Baba came for a week or so, we were exhausted, absolutely drained after he left. We had done nothing, but he drained us, almost as if he had used our energy like a human battery." So Baba gave permission to Quentin, Delia, Margaret, and Mabel to go to Spain for a rest. Quentin and Delia left on the 19th. Ruano, and Nani were sent to Paris on the 20th, and Margaret and Mabel waited to leave until Baba had sailed. Baba did not want any farewell scenes at the dock, he said. So even though his boat, the SS Strathnaver, did not sail for India until the evening of the 20th, he boarded it that morning with Chanji, Kaka, and Ali Jr. Narina and Elizabeth sailed for America to carry on Baba's work concerning the producing of the film. The Strathnaver, with its 450 passengers, reached Bombay in the afternoon on Thursday, 2 August 1934, and Ali Sr. and Gohar met Baba in a Chevrolet. It was raining heavily. They went first to Kakabaria's sister's apartment. Baba said he wished to proceed to Nasik by train, so they drove the Chevrolet to a garage and went by taxi to Sarosha's sister Home's house, where Baba ate a little rice and dal. Then they boarded the Calcutta Mail and reached Nasik by 9 p.m. Instead of resting, Baba and all went to the Circle Cinema, where they saw a Laurel and Hardy comedy, Sons of the Desert, which Baba enjoyed. After bringing Rustam up to date on the film's progress and meeting others there, Baba returned to Meherabad at 5 p.m. on the 3rd of August.
Thank you, Marvin. Eva, would you like to read?
Sure. Sorry, that's my phone. Settling in at Meherabad, Baba related details of his tour to both the men and women mandali. The women were still residing on the hill, and no man was allowed to go there. They were kept in strict seclusion, away from any man's contact. Only Sunamasi and Kakubai, who kept watch by the gate to ensure their privacy, were permitted to talk with the men mandali if there was any reason. From an external view, Baba's visit to the West was meant primarily to see to the preliminary arrangements in connection with the spiritual film. Having had Baba's personal contact, the main workers became more enthusiastic about the project. Karl Vollmoeller was to be the writer of the film. Gabriel Pascal, the director, and Norina, Elizabeth, and Elsie Domville were to arrange all the financing. 3 motion pictures were to be produced, with 50% of the financing to be borne by a studio, which Pascal represented, and 50% by Elizabeth and Noni. The profit was to be divided, 50% to Baba, 5% to Vollmoeller, and 45% to Pascal. All of Baba's expenses sorry about that. I lost my place here. Let me see. The profit was to be divided 50% to Baba, 5% to Vollmoeller, and 45% to Pascal. All of Baba's expenses for the journey, $6,500, were paid, and Vollmoeller was given $1,000 for his expenses. Baba promised to return to America by September of 1934 to begin shooting the film. His voyage and that of those with him were to be paid by the corporation. To assuage feelings of separation of his Western women disciples, Baba indicated to them that each would be given a significant role in the film, and Margaret was to choreograph spiritual dances for it. After a brief stay at Meherabad, Baba went to Bombay with a few of the Mandali to give darshan to his lovers there. The darshan was held at Neo-Roji, Dada Chanji's house, and many of Baba's close ones attended, including Minu Karas from Nasik. Minu and a young man named Shankar Mahadev Turakar, 26, were enrolled in the police academy in Nasik and were regular visitors. Baba visited the homes of some of his Bombay lovers and then left for Pune. Darshan was held in Kasba Peth at Sada Shiv Patil's home, and many Pune lovers attended. After the program, Baba met with his mother, Memo, his brother, Behram, and his sister-in-law, Perrin, with whom he had individual talks. While in Pune, Baba sent for Sada Shiv and Bua Sahib. Neither man wanted to move from Pune. Baba told them, "You are both breaking my order by not staying at Meherabad." In spite of Baba's insistence, Bua Sahib refused to accept Baba's wish to stay at Meherabad. As the years went by, however, Bua Sahib was to regret his mistake. Once Baba used the simile to explain to Bali the importance of obeying his orders. Imagine that we are sitting in a room and the room has two doors, a front door and a back door. It is convenient and easy to leave through the front door, but it takes longer to do so through the back door. It is also difficult, cumbersome, and time-consuming to exit through the back door. Now you received news from your home that your mother has fallen and is lying unconscious on the floor. You need to rush home immediately, so you get up at once to leave. At that time, I know there is a deadly poisonous snake hiding near the front door. And the moment you exit from the front door, you will be bitten. You cannot escape its lethal bite and will surely die. At the same time, I also know there is no real danger to your mother. And even though you may reach home late, there is nothing to be worried about. And because I cannot explain all this to you openly, I order you, Bali, do not go through the front door, but go from the back door.
Eva, that's Bailey.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Bailey. Thank you. I order you, Bailey, do not go through the front door, but go from the back door. In spite of my telling you, you think, if I do that, I will be delayed further. And also my leg is paining and I cannot walk fast, etc. You argue and think that you are wiser. In that case, I cannot do anything about it beyond thinking about your welfare. I am helpless to do anything further. And for that very reason, I have always been telling everyone that whatever order I give first, you should follow it and ignore your intellect and baseless arguments. When you use your brain and argue, on the contrary, I am compelled to give in to your arguments and moods, and I bow down to your wishes. Then when you face the consequences, you come running to me, complaining and crying at your misfortune. You even get upset with me or blame me. With my trying to explain to you time and time again, it would be so much better had you taken cognizance when I cautioned you. Otherwise, there is no other resource but to bear the fruits of your karma. Excuse me. Baba returned to Meherbad on Wednesday, 15 August, 1934, and began settling matters with the Mandali living there. Pilame was managing the kitchen, where Masaji was the cook. Not a day passed that there was not a quarrel between them, mainly because Pilamai would grudge Masaji the proper ingredients needed for cooking the meals. Masaji complained that Pilamai was too strict a manager, whereupon Pilamai threatened to leave for Karachi, claiming that Masaji was always crossing her. On the 19th, Baba prevailed upon them to work together harmoniously by pointing out, you have both been with me for many years, yet you have not yet learned renunciation. You know that the body will drop one day. So why this continual expression of hatred, jealousy, and anger between you? To renounce these traits is real renunciation. Like Pilame, Shagan too said he would leave Meherbad, despite his promise to stay. Baba became annoyed with his ultimatum, but pardoned him in the end. Chanji arrived at Meherbad on 20 August, and the Shahain saw Baba the following day. Adi Sr.'s mood had been gloomy since Baba's return, and he too had thoughts of complete abandonment of Baba's company and association. Baba seemed to deliberately taunt him to get him to stop brooding and speak his mind. On 23 August 1934, Baba asked him, "Why don't you look happy these days?" Adi was never one to mince his words, even with Baba. He replied, "During your last 5 foreign tours, you did not take me with you and kept me here under one pretext or another." Baba commented, "You should be the happiest of the Mandali. You are free from worldly cares or bodily disease and have a car at your disposal to drive about in. Still, you are always discontented. You are the champion grumbler and never satisfied with life." Since his return from the West, Baba had been sleeping in the bathing room next to the kitchen on the hill. He expressed a wish for a small, 2-storied residential building to be built on the hill, saying the women would occupy the ground floor and he would occupy the upper one. Adi and Padri were instructed to engage a draftsman, Pendoba's brother, for the project. The plans were delivered to Baba on 24 August. Funds were tight, and for his spiritual reasons, on the 23rd, Baba had a request sent to certain close lovers, Ramju, Naval, Iyengar, Manek, Ranji, Manu, Karas, to each donate 10 rupees per month towards the maintenance of the Mandali. In addition, at a meeting of the Mandali the next day, Baba suggested a poultry farm to earn some income. Someone else suggested a dairy, but in the end, Baba decided on a small oil pump to pump the water up the hill. It could also run a flour mill, and this would save on salaries. A vegetable garden to grow some of their food was to be started. On 29 August 1934, Dolat May, Frani, and her son Bayram arrived by bus for a stay at Meherabad. Frani stayed on the hill with the other women, while Daulat Mai and Bayram stayed at the family quarters. Baba had a fever for the preceding few days. Nusirwan, Chinchorkar, and Borkar had Baba's darshan on the 30th. Baba took everyone on a picnic to Vambori Ghat on 1 September. Rustom and Buash Sahib arrived just before Baba left. Baba proposed that Buash Sahib build a hotel in Nasik, but Buash Sahib said he had no funds to invest. Kakabaria arrived from Bombay on the 9th. The next day, Baba remarked to Adi Sr., "In the beginning, I thought you and Vishnu were the most obedient, but I now find selfishness in both of you. You were only laboring for spiritual gain, and Vishnu for monetary help. Vishnu himself does not need money, but he wants to help others in their studies. He has spent whatever little he had for that, and now he comes to me for more. I have not yet come across anyone who could serve me without thought of either spiritual or material benefit. Arjun came closest. He was the best." Baba then called Kakabaria and asked, "Why are you serving me?" "It is my duty," Kaka replied. Don't you have any selfish motive? Pursued Baba. Absolutely not, answered Kaka. Kaka talks like this, but he longs in his heart for spiritual advancement. He does not want anything, but he knows that it is desirable to be here for spiritual progress. This too is selfishness. One should serve out of love, and true love is bereft of any thought of gain or worry over risks taken. There was a group of Upasani Maharaj's women disciples called Kanyas living at Sakuri. On one occasion, Maharaj symbolically became betrothed to these nuns as his spiritual wives. However, during this period, certain persons in Rahuri, who were Maharaj's staunch opponents, filed a lawsuit against him and made many false claims about him, claiming that he was a polygamist and seduced young girls into his ashram for illicit purposes. Maharaj was even called to testify before a Kaparian court.
Eva, before you go on, let me interrupt for a second.
Sure.
Mona, you know, it's already about 10 minutes
Oh.
past the hour here. And I think,
Yeah,
I
we
think,
can end it here. So
yeah, it's
next
about,
week we'll start from 1638. So today's reading was from 1631 to 1637. And we can stop the recording and have a small chit chat. And meet you all next week.